You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello and welcome to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents Pet Psychic Aminah. I am your host and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and I'm a certified life and career coach. And our program is on Business Talk Radio and social media. We're really glad that you're here, and I'm going to bring my co-host, Aminah, into this room with us. Hello, Aminah. How are you today?
I am so terrific. How about you?
I am just fantastic. It's a little bit windy here. It seems like the roof is going to be ripped off, but we're safe. So it's all good.
Yep. We had a storm for the last 4 or 5 days, but I live in California, not in the Tahoe part. So storms for us are probably a joke for the rest of the country.
Well, you've got a special guest that is here today. Her name is Julie Parker, and she is joining us from Texas. Tell me how you two know each other.
Well, that is the best part of the story. When you're starting out, and you know this, you're starting out your college education, your first marriage, your college, or whatever. There's lots to learn, and networking is so important. What you and I do, what we do with the show and other parts of our lives, we network with other people. Well, Julie is one of those. She and I met through a coach that we were both working with. Now she lives in Texas. So have I physically ever seen her? Nope. Just on camera or some, networking events and that kind of stuff. She and I really obviously hit it off because she soon for me became my client. And I was able to help her with her grandbabies. So she is a really fabulous grandma, and her puppies come to her while her son and his wife are at work. And so she was having some challenges and that type of stuff. And she and I'll hopefully get into that where she is. But that's how we met, was through a business coach. And that's what networking's about. What you and I are doing here is the same thing.
Absolutely. You bring up a really good point. When I think about how many people I've met through networking in the last year, and I've never actually met them in person, but yet I consider them to be friends and, colleagues. It's really interesting that it's a whole new world. And there's horrible things that have happened in the last year, but there's also some good things that have come out of it. And this ability to be able to contact anybody, anywhere, and form a relationship is just amazing to me.
Well, and I think I speak for so many people that don't have relatives close by. My daughter was in Europe when the pandemic hit, and it was safer for her to stay than to try to travel back to the United States. So she is out of country, still is out of country, planning to be there for some time, but we feel just as close as ever. She was about 5 hours away from me anyways in the state, and then moved to Massachusetts. So it would have been a phone call and a video. And so we maintain those relationships because they matter. And I think if you take the positive cup half full of, we get to talk to everybody. And if you do it online, it's free.
Yes.
So those phone calls are so much cheaper now.
That's another plus. Well, we're going to bring Julie out. I just want to let our audience know that we love to hear from you. And unfortunately, we're not taking calls today, but we will be up and running, taking calls next week. We have all the equipment here. I just need one cable. So you can reach us today by texting us. And that number to text to is area code 609-961-1699. It's scrolling across the screen. And for those of you on the radio, again, 609-961-1699. And we'd also like to have your comments on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch TV, and YouTube. Wherever you are, we are. All right, let's bring Julie on. Julie Parker from Texas. Join us. Welcome.
Yay.
Thank you for having me. Great to be here with you guys.
Yes, it's great to have you as our guest.
Thank you.
So Amina was just talking about how you two met. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What do you do, and what's happening there in Texas?
Sure. Well, it's beautiful today. It's sunny and it's kind of cool. But I help business owners, established business owners. Really, I was listening to you both talk about the concept of networking, and with the pandemic, business has to go on, and we aren't getting together in person anymore. So the next best thing is online, which, in my opinion, is the new normal. And there's so many more benefits to it. You can reach more people in outside of your locale. You can hop on a call like a Zoom call or something, quickly, or StreamYard. And you can reach anybody in any area of the world. So I help business owners create events online so that they can bring their target market to them.
Fantastic. I love that. That's such a needed skill, and it's a whole new way for people to have new followers, to generate income, and to really take your brand to the next level.
That's true. And it's been really interesting that, I was doing networking events monthly. And when the pandemic hit, I thought, okay, it's time to do them online. I was terrified. I thought, I don't know how to do this, but I thought, all right, I'm going to have to start learning now. So I did it, and had a great response to that, and just discovering that there's a process to it, and not everybody's comfortable with that, and they don't do it because they don't understand how to do it or what's entailed, and that's what I show them how to do, because there's a huge benefit, and this is going to be the new normal. I think once things start opening up, people will still continue to do things online, and either meet online or host online events and go that route. So yeah.
I agree with you. So for those of you out there watching and listening, and you want to know how to do an online event, Julie Parker is the person to contact. Her information is scrolling across. But Julie, for those on the radio, what's the best way to contact you?
Email at Julie, Julie, at eliteconsultingco.com. That's ELITE consulting, consultingco.com.
Fantastic. Or on LinkedIn.
Yes, LinkedIn is /Julie-Parker-40754773.
Excellent. That goes by fast, doesn't it? That back.
I was like, wait a second, I've got to grab this really fast.
We'll have
you repeat it later.
Yeah, we'll have you repeat it later. So, Amina, why don't you share with us a little bit about the little furry friends and how you guys have this connection?
Well, as I said, we met through business, and still trying to get that coach, Julie, hint, pressure from both of us to come on to our show with Jacalyn. And so the man's just a little busy.
I'll poke I'll give him a little poke for you.
See, I'm sticking you on him too. So we'll leave him unmentioned because he hasn't scheduled anything. Anyways, so through that wonderful networking, I want to reiterate, Julie and I have never met face to face. We have always had an online experience, and she was in the very beginning of me creating whatever I was going to be. I mean, this is years later, and boy, do I feel different. But it was coming to somebody, and Julie, I don't know if I explained this to you. I hope I didn't, because wow, what a bad business plan. But we all do that in the beginning, and that's this whole part is being real, right, Dr. Jacalyn? Is being
real.
It is. I'm learning from who I am. But I had always, with my family, with my children specifically, spoken the first person about pets. Don't do that. He doesn't like it. Can't you see he told you da, 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 because I'm here in real time. So my kids are used to it. So when I started doing reading, Julie was a part of those first 10. And so you were.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Well, you don't tell.
I was just like, whoa, let's talk.
I have never talked to anybody else's pets. And so you go in with, can I really do it? Did people make it up when they said I'm doing a great job?
Seriously?
Everybody goes through those doubts.
But I didn't know that was happening for you.
Oh my gosh, yes, because I've been blowing smoke, as a public speaker. You go, I got this. And it's not the topic. I understand my topics inside and out. you want that delivery. You want
Yeah.
that understanding. And with reading somebody's pet, what I'm going to tell you could change your life. I have had tell people, they're dying. Not the person. The dog gets to tell them that. But, their pet is dying, or it's time to put them down, or it's time to go to the vet, or, oh my God, should I call the police and come get your animal now? So there are pet owners, not many, that come and ask me things, and I'm thinking, oh man, how do I not kill you over the phone? Because they're doing something so terrible and horrific. And Julie knows what I'm talking about. We've seen these owners do this, and 90% of them don't come to me. That's not going to happen. But there are some shocking things that people really do out of love, which is killing them. I mean, killing themselves. I mean, we've seen people eat themselves to death and that kind of stuff, or take the wrong meds and not know. So, Julie, I went in with a lot of, I want to do the best I can, of course, but I need to be authentic. And everybody, all my coaches who knew what I really felt, said, you know what, you've done this a whole life. Just treat it as the same thing as you've already done. And you got this. So it was really fun because you and I hit it off personally. You were great to be within that early group.
And you were amazing. I would never have known it was one of your first times.
Yay!
Yeah, that's awesome. It's funny, Julie, when I saw you backstage when you popped in, I was here trying to set up the board, and I thought, you know what? I like her energy. I can just sense she's a really good person. Right away. Yes. So, Aminah, kudos to you for bringing us a really quality, high-class person.
Well, and, I hope we surround ourselves with that. And yes. I have a few that are more close friends than just business friends, and they don't think so. And it's okay, because I know so, and just saying, you got this. You have the skill. You have all of that. One of the guests coming up who just booked last night is somebody who wants to be a public speaker. And I met him on another platform, and he says, I used to stutter. I'd like to talk about it. I said, great. This is a great platform. So, Julie, you and I know you got to start.
Yeah,
somewhere.
You got to start someplace.
And you hope you network with somebody that says, I want to try you.
Yeah.
And so, Julie, you were in that crowd, and I honored that. But I also have gotten to work with you, with our networking groups and that kind of stuff, and just kind of see our trajectory has just been really fun, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree.
Love is in there. I'm so happy that things go well for
full
people.
Heart.
It's really beautiful. I know when I first started down this path of television, radio production, and hosting 5 months ago, I had a lot of people who were just, what do you think you're going to be, a movie star? Like, what do you think you're going to be, a TV star? Who do you think you are? I said, no, I'm just going to put a platform together for people to share their stories and see where it goes. So I think in the beginning that we're always going to have people who don't believe in what we're doing, but we don't listen to them, right? We surround ourselves by people who believe in us and want us to succeed, and we want the same for them.
Well,
right.
In addition to that, not everybody sees the vision that you do, and they might not know what's happening. So we can't really listen to those because, we've got to go with our gut. If we feel like it's something we want to do, and if it's going to benefit ourselves, other people, and going to be a benefit all the way around, a win-win, we just got to push through it and just do it anyway.
Yeah.
Right. I got called actually just on the carpet yesterday by somebody who in business is like, oh, no, you can't do that. So just like inviting this young man to the this stream and well, are you charging him? No. Talking with setting up something with Dr. Jacalyn. Oh, so you're getting paid, right? And or some other question where they ask you, well, where's it quantified? What are you getting out of it? Because I see what you're giving. And it's like, what? I really truly believe in certain platforms and certain times, if you don't give, you don't receive. And that's the world I want to be in. And I know, Julie, you're in the same space. And Dr. Jacalyn, I've learned and watching that you were in the same space of going, I want to put out in the world what I want the world to give back to everybody. So these are the relationships we keep.
Yeah,
part of it is paying it forward, and part of it is you're learning as you're doing it.
Yeah,
So you are
Absolutely.
benefiting.
so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
We need to take a break and hear from some of our friends who are sponsors. So stay with us on Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents Pet Psychic Aminah and our special guest, Julie Parker. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Graves Jr. I'm the host of the Ralph Graves Jr. Show, and I want to invite you to pick up my book, Unstoppable. I wrote a book called Unstoppable. It's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. The one thing that my 20 years of law enforcement has taught me is that no matter who you are, we are all governed by universal laws, like gravity. But in this book, we're going to talk about laws like the law of forgiveness, laws like the law of control, the law of intelligent practice, the law of expectancy. I was able to see how those, no matter what their background was, those who identified and treated these laws with respect, they were able to go on and lead successful lives. So pick up this book, and you can go ahead and pick it up at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, RalphGravesJr.com, where anywhere where fine books are sold. Thank you.
There are 7.7 billion people on Earth today. 40% of these people are under the age of 25. Young adults are the most fertile mission field in the world today. In Scripture, we see Jesus pouring his life into 12 young adults who he equipped to change the world and all of history. Like Jesus, we believe that the best approach to reach the world with the gospel is to invest in young, emerging leaders and equip them to build disciple-making movements. Concentric is the notion of surrounding and sharing a common center. Our center is the model and strategy of Jesus for both leadership development and ministry formation. As a global alliance, we provide equipping in biblical leadership based on Jesus' example in the New Testament. Jesus modeled for us how to make disciples that reproduce. Focusing on leadership development is key to creating movements that spread the gospel and Jesus' disciple-making strategy to young leaders around the globe. Our ministry alliance partners are actively equipping leaders and building movements of multiplication that reproduce the life of Christ. Join us today to equip young leaders with Jesus' strategy that will change cities and nations.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Academy Sedan and Limo is a full-service transportation company serving the Philadelphia metropolitan area with full knowledge of the New York City, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. areas. We pride ourselves on being the most dependable, conscientious company in the industry. Our always on-time service and dependable pricing make us the company to call for any event or occasion. Our vehicles can accommodate any size party for any occasion. Our vehicles range from four-door sedans to SUVs to minivans to limo buses to full-size tour buses and can accommodate groups of 2 to 100. We offer airport shuttle service or over-the-road service without limitation regarding mileage or time, and no drive is too long or too far. So if you find yourself in need of transportation of any type with any vehicle, give us a call at 610-842-4564 and let us show you what a real transportation company can do for you.
Use code ACADEMY2020 to receive 20% off your first 3 rides, including parking and tolls.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Welcome back to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. I'm here in New Jersey getting blown away. The whole house is moving. We are on Business Talk Radio and social media, and our program today is pet psychic Aminah and her guest, Julie Parker. Welcome back.
Yay, thanks.
Thank you.
So let's dig into the whole grandbabies, the furry friends, and the type of communication requests that were made, Aminah. I guess from Julie, was it from you?
It was from me, yeah. I reached out and asked her.
Perfect.
Go ahead, Julie, and elaborate now that I've reminded you. Which is really strange.
Right? I was like, wait a second, what did I ask you? So my son and daughter-in-law had adopted this dog. It was a rescue in December of 2017. And it was funny because when they adopted him from a rescue organization here locally in Houston, and they texted me some pictures. And I saw the breed and I was like, wasn't a breed I was familiar with? And I was like, And I wasn't all that comfortable. So I said, and they travel quite a bit. So I said, what are you going to do when you travel? And they said, oh, Grandma's going to take care. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. So, and this was like, I think it was over the weekend, but they said they wanted to go back to adopt him, but it was too late. So, and it was a Sunday. They wanted to go back the next day and do it, but they were afraid he was going to be gone because beautiful, beautiful dog. So I offered to go meet them at lunchtime, meet my son at lunchtime, and got the dog. And I said, I'll bring it back to my house and then you can just come pick it up later. And I remember picking up this dog. And, poor breed, it gets such a bad rap. And this dog is just, I love this dog. Anyway, he's a pit bull. And I put him in the back of my car, and the hair on the back of my neck was standing up, partially because the previous dog I had was I guess just had some bad wiring or something, because he was a combination of several breeds and went into red zone and literally got ugly and bit big time. So I still had that remnants and energy from that other dog where I was a little bit nervous, and I love dogs. So I had this pit bull in the back of my car, and I was like, oh my gosh, nice puppy. And I'm turning on music and I'm looking at him, and he's in the back just all curled up, terrified, because, he had just been in this rescue experience. But finally got him out and brought him inside, and he was afraid of stairs. So that was one of the things that I noticed about him, and I thought, okay, this is interesting. So I literally stayed in my entry area with him for like hours until my son came to pick him up. And I have pictures. I was going through pictures the other day on my phone. He had like his paw and his head in my lap in one of the pictures, and then another one, I had a couple toys that I purchased for him. So I was on the stairs in my hallway, and I'd taken some pictures, and looking back, just the sweetest little thing. Anyway, but so that was one thing. He was afraid to go up the stairs because I'm in a townhouse, and he wouldn't go up the stairs, terrified. And then there was something with his leg. And then I also noticed that over the next, couple weeks or so, that he would just look up into the air. And I was like, what are you looking at? And I thought, are you seeing spirits? What's going on here? So Aminah and I, we met through this networking group, this coaching group. And I thought, So I reached out to her and I said, hey, would you be open to to give me a reading? I would love to hear what you pick up. And my kids, my son and daughter-in-law, worked outside of the home at that point. They're now self-employed, and they were gone all day on Mondays, and so I used to go over there on Mondays to their house, let him out, play with him, and and put him back in the crate, because it just kind of broke my heart that he was inside crated all day for so long. So each week I would go over there on Monday and let him out of the crate, play frisbee fetch with him, give him a bone, and kind of play with him a little bit. So that kind of became a ritual. But he'd still look at the ceiling or at the wall or something, like, what are you looking at? So Aminah and I had a conversation, and I asked her, I said, what happened with his leg, and what's the deal with the stairs? And then what is this with this, looking up? Is he seeing something? What's going on? So that's when the conversation started. So she just gave me some really interesting information about his leg, and it was just a really fun experience. So I can't hear you, Dr. Jacalyn. There we go.
I was on mute.
I see you talking, but I don't hear any sound.
We see the lips
I think that's a talking head, right?
Right?
I don't translate talking heads.
No, thank you for sharing that. And so, Aminah, what are your recollections of that, the phone call and what happened?
You know, the only thing I could remind her of anything, because I don't retain what I read. It's like, I would assume what a counselor goes through and or a coach goes through. You don't own the customers or your clients or your friends' concerns, because it'll eat away at you, or and that kind of stuff. So even with friendships, it's like, yeah, I care about you, but empathy is probably better than sympathy at this point, and you don't live it and own it and breathe it. With readings, I can't, because let me give you an example. When I first did a first public event years ago, I was reading all day long. I had a line around, my booth and that type of stuff. And I was just like, oh, my head's going to fall off, just because I barely had a chance to run to the bathroom. And I had a presentation. So everybody's like, where'd you go? Well, I was in the other room giving a lecture. So it was very overwhelming. And luckily another psychic came by. She literally handed me a hat and said, put this on. I said, a hat? Really? You think it goes with my outfit? I was thinking this, of course, because of the sarcasm in me. But what it does is it taps that energy down. So I'm not just out there in the ether, just giving it to everybody and that type of stuff. So with clients, I don't do that. And luckily, when I just meet people over the phone, with 99% of my appointments are just by the phone, because I have clients all over the world. I don't need that visual. I want spirit. I want energy. I want what is. Sometimes, as Julie, you'll know, we talked about a lot of things is what I remembered. And that was just one thing I resonated.
Yeah.
And that this was your grandpuppy.
Right.
So I'm going, maybe there's a bigger question. Maybe they're asking, well, what do I feed them? But what you're actually saying is he dying? So people go that way. And the end of life conversation is a really big one. Julie and I covered every which way. A lot of, I think, and Julie, please correct me if I'm incorrect. One of the common things with parent, grandparent, sister, brother relationship to the pet is, do they love me? Do they care about me? Yeah. And I think, Julie, you had those same concerns. And was he okay in the cage all day long? And how did he feel about da-da-da-da-da-da?
Right.
If I can tell everybody one thing, and I'll repeat this every show we have, Jacalyn, talk to your pets. They understand the timbre of your voice. They understand the energy you pick out with happy, sad, mad, glad. They pick up if you're sick, if you ate too much garlic, they don't care. All of that an animal can show me. And I think, Jacalyn, last week I shared with you a class I gave, and the young woman walked away after I answered her question, and the dog said, her life's in danger. And the whole room turned on her and said, what? Who do we kill? And her boyfriend had threatened to kill her. Wow. And the dog told me.
Wow.
Because she did not, because it was necessary. A pet will say what you need to know. Now pets have also turned me down and said, no, that serves no purpose for her to know.
So, Julie, you had this conversation, and what were your key takeaways from what Aminah had told you that your granddog was sharing?
So what I remember from that, because this was almost 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But I remember, because I was worried about his leg. There was one of the legs just wasn't set right or something, and I thought, is there something to, for me, especially as a mom, and having been a pet owner, I wanted to make sure I was, I'm always watching everything. So I noticed this leg and I was like, is this an issue? Is he okay? Is he safe? Is he healthy? Or was there, a problem, or what happened, or developmental? I didn't know what was going on with that. And I think my recollection from what you said was that it was like he said there was a bobo or something like that, or boo-boo, like a accident or something. And I think the previous owners were trying to shove him up the stairs, and it scared him. So, and he's fine now. Everything's okay from that. And then, trying to think, my understanding was that he was seeing spirits, but all good, he was okay. So that's really what I remember at this point, because I think I had several questions and we talked about other things, but yeah.
Yeah,
But
in
he's
an
okay.
hour you can cover a lot of stuff.
Yes.
And I think that was why it resonated with me, because to this day, and again, I don't remember 99% of the readings, is I see the memory of these spiritly ghosty things floating across the top of the ceiling.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and he just wanted you to know, and he's talking to him with the bark, but I don't remember, there was no fear. It was just kind of the annoying barking at the roof thing, right?
He didn't really bark I don't recall him barking because he's not very vocal. I mean, if I'm coming over and if I'm at the door, he's barking at the door. It's like, Grandma's here.
Out of the cage.
Right? Well, he's actually not even in the cage anymore, but he's just, we have this special bond still to this day. And, he can be exhausted and I go over there and the kids are like, we walked and we really took him for a walk and he's got he's jumping and he's like, Grandma's here. Yeah. And partially, who knows, because we're going to go play Frisbee fetch if it's bright outside, or I've got a bone for him too. So, and he just, we've got this awesome bond, but I don't remember the barking. I just remember asking about, and I feel just for me, it provided me a sense of relief that he was okay. Mm-hmm. And I was just kind of curious about the other. And then also, I think I wanted to know if he liked me or not. I thought, because I thought if they're going to bring him over for me to babysit, I wanted to make sure that, he was okay with me and he wasn't going to get, I didn't know what his personality was like at that point. I knew, just bringing him home from the rescue shelter, he was going to be afraid. And I wanted to reassure him and let him know he was safe and I wasn't going to push him past his comfort level. And the kids still to this day think that he just remembers that as, remembers me and associates me with that. I don't know, but
how could he not? And you're such a sweetheart.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's deeper. It's deeper than that. And Julie, I want you to appreciate and own it, because you have a good, gentle, loving soul. They know that. They know that. Not only does he remember. By the way, he's here, ladies.
Oh, sweet boy.
Anytime you guys talk about a pet and it's enough energy, he goes, are you going to tell her? It's like, yeah, I'll tell her.
Well, you know what? I want to hear what he has to say, but we have to take another break.
Absolutely.
I want to hear too. How fun is that?
Awesome. Well, as soon as we come back from the break, we'll hear more about that. Stay with us here on Business Talk Radio and social media. Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn continues. Located at 121 Haddon Avenue in Westmont, New Jersey, is Margie Cedrone, artisan jeweler. Margie's been in business for more than 30 years. She works with her clients to create custom pieces of jewelry to reflect their personality and help them make their own bold statement. Starting in the renowned Jewelers Row in Center City, Philadelphia in 1988, Margie works directly with her clients to develop one-of-a-kind pieces such as necklaces, engagement rings, wedding bands, unique watches and tennis bracelets, as well as a myriad of rings and earrings for everyone in your family. She also has worked directly with Dr. Jacalyn over the years, creating unique pieces of jewelry to reflect her personality. She does pearl stringing and repairs on site at 121 Haddon Avenue. Call or text Margie at 215-384-7155. Margie Cedrone Jewelry is open by appointment only. Make your own bold statement.
Looking for children's books to embrace the imagination, to inspire your kids to be the best they can be and to love themselves? Look no further. Children's author DianeFloydBain.com. You'll find the books right there and on Amazon and local stores.
I tried to ignore it, but my stomach issues were out of control. I couldn't fix them on my own. It was time to do something. A friend said the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation could help me find a specialist. Feels good to finally have a plan. Don't hide your symptoms. Get help at spillyourguts.org today.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Guess what? We're back. Here we are, and Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents pet psychic Aminah and Julie Parker. Hello, hello. It's great to see you. I want to say hi to Jane George Vile. Just saw you're there on Facebook. Nice to see you. Okay, so we have a special guest with us, right? We have your grand dog here.
Yes.
Absolutely. Can't everybody see him? Okay, of course you can't see me doing the hand movement. That kind of stuff.
What are you hearing?
Well,
What's he saying?
Being loved is so special. I don't care who you are or what you are, from the smallest insect that basically makes sure we all have food. Everybody's in the chain. Everybody's in the environmental chain. I don't care what it is. Even the flies, and God forbid the mosquitoes. They have a purpose to be here. So pets are so smart and so intelligent in their realm, but when they live with us, they start to learn our language. They start to try to teach us to listen to our own body language, because when you're hot or sweaty or nervous or excited, that is their language. They live by instinct. I talk a lot about with pet owners and dog owners are a carnivore pack. So you are technically they're omnivores. So they can just about eat anything. And they will. Your tennis shoes, the door, the grass. So we can talk about that. But they are a pack animal. So Julie knows this. If I'm not, I'll remind you. I talk a lot about the hierarchy of a pack because this is their go-to. They're going to stay true to what their nature is. And I think a lot of people forget that. And that's true when you get a human psychologist who's helping you through things. They need to know where you've been to get you past where you're going forward. So why wouldn't an animal person? Because I'm not just a psychic. That's just born with. I actually got asked, "Ooh, where'd you study?" I don't know. I've been talking to animals since the first memory I have is I was 2 or 3. The first time I said something to a sibling, because I'm the youngest of 5, was I was about 4 or 5. And I got a really bizarre look on their face. Like, what? Because I said it in the first person. Don't do that. Didn't you hear he said he don't like it? I was talking about the cat. That kind of stuff. So I stopped talking about it. I didn't tell anybody publicly for years. And then privately, I would help friends. And of course, my children heard me always speak in the first person with our pets. Horse, dog, whatever. I love spiders, absolutely adore them. So they come in the house and I have a rule that as long as they're on the left side of the toilet, not directly over, you eat the bugs. That's the contract. They eat the mosquitoes, and you can stay. And my daughters are all like, "You are so weird." I said, "I know, but what are they going to do? Fall on you?" Well, maybe, but they don't bite people. Have you been bit by a dog? This is not an issue. For 5 years, I had a desk in an office where I worked at a wildlife sanctuary, and I had black widows just living next to me on the plug. And I got to watch her have babies and go by. And I was everywhere I went, I'd sit on a bench somewhere and there'd be a black widow. And I absolutely adore these spiders, but I also respect them. So I hold no fear. Can they hurt me? Sure, I can hurt them. I'm the bigger danger. I could own raid, and that kind of stuff. So hopefully that gives you a little synopsis.
Yes,
it's nice
definitely.
that you. It's nice that you actually get to hear what they have to say back, though. Unlike other people are like, "Are you going to bite me? You're not going to bite me."
Exactly, and that's a great point, Julie, because I've been asked if I could teach it, and I know there are classes out there that, even though I love to teach, I love to do public speaking and all that kind of stuff, but I don't have that in my repertoire to say, I don't know how to tell you what I see. I don't know how to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, you're doing enough things already. So I'm not so sure about this spider thing. What do you think, Julie, about that? How do you feel about spiders?
I'm not a fan of spiders. I don't want to kill them, but I just don't want them in my space.
Right. I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, have you guys ever done, I know we're not doing parties, but maybe you did one last year. So those little silo cups, the little Christmas cups that you have 9 million left. So I used to keep one of those because it looks different than all the other cups. If I'd have brought a regular cup into the bathroom, someone probably drank out of it or something. So I would put like a little silo cup. So if they were in the wrong place or a dangerous place, or it's like, dude, right next to the toilet, there's body parts there. I don't want you to maybe bite. So I would take the cup and a piece of paper, just slide the paper over and just take them outside.
That's smart.
So it's harmless. It's simple. And guess what? It's cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody has disposable cups, or if not, some kind of piece of paper. So that's literally how easy it is to, especially the daddy long legs that really creep people out.
Oh, yeah.
I know. And they have 8 eyes. Is it 8 sets of eyes or 8 eyes? I forget.
They have 8 sets of eyes.
Well, each type of spider has a different number. So I haven't memorized them all, but you're talking about some pretty advanced ones, but most only have a few or 10. Because they see in. I wish you could see my hands. They see in like mirrors, different dimensions.
Okay.
They can see everywhere. They can see all around. I have actually talked to spiders, and I would be like, "What are you doing here?" Okay, exactly. I want to walk across this room, and I literally cannot because you're hanging over there. I don't know when you're going to drop down, and so I would talk to the spider. Of course, nothing would happen, and then I wouldn't go across the room because I was so afraid. And I'd be like, when I was growing up, I'd be like, "Dad, can you please kill the spider? Mom, can you kill the spider?" And that's the way it would be today because I took an oath as I practice meditation. And so in the Buddhist philosophy, I'm not a Buddhist, but in Buddhist philosophy, you can't kill anything. Yeah. So I can't kill any bugs. So I guess
and remember the paper, little disposable cup. Just, put the cup over and slide the paper underneath. You're good. Because I always worry about, like, for the daddy long legs specifically, their legs are so skinny and frail. I'm afraid if I do anything bigger than a piece of paper,
it would break
I'm going to break their legs, and then they're doomed anyway. So I agree. Let's all discuss it with the spiders. We all have a limit.
What about with the spiders that have the fur? The fur on their legs? It's like, no, I'm sorry.
They won't let me pet them. It's just unfair.
Have you ever seen that show, Naked and Afraid?
Yes.
I try not to. It's just too much information.
There's a lot. Well, it's not about them being naked, really. It's about their survival skills, right, and working together. And I don't know. I've watched the show with my mother, and I'd always be like, there's no way I could do it for many, many reasons. But the bug aspect, there's no way that I could.
And they're constantly getting eaten too.
Yeah, they're crawling all over you. So,
no, thank you.
Yeah, I wouldn't even volunteer for whatever those challenges are where they lay you down like in the sand dugout pit like you're a barbecue, and then they dump cockroaches on you or some other bizarre test of what? Yes, I'm stupid. Here I am. There's a comedian that says, "Here's your sign." Right. It's like, absolutely, because it just says, "Yes, I'm stupid." or whatever that sign is.
Well, imagine if the cockroaches started communicating with you. You had all that would be so much noise. You'd probably be exhausted trying to
Absolutely. And what people don't realize is cockroaches are from the dinosaurs. I mean, these things have literally, they've lived so long and so an amazing life. It's just like, wait a minute, you kind of have to respect this crazy giant bug and that kind of stuff. And that's why, you know, some of them, if you've ever stepped on a cockroach, it's really disturbing.
It's like a crunch. I don't know about where you are, but in Texas we have what they call tree roaches or wood, or I think they're called tree roaches. They're huge.
Are they the flying ones?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm into alternative stuff anyway. I love holistic and, you know, oils and nutrition and stuff like that. So I found a remedy that repels. They can't stand the smell of it. So I was like, okay.
That's saying something for a cockroach if they can't stand the smell of it.
One of the programs that I saw, I want to say it was Law and Order a few years ago. There was an episode about this guy who was keeping cockroaches as pets and decorating them with jewels and then selling them as jewelry. And they were like alive, and somehow they would. I don't even know. It was so. I had nightmares about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a preview of that, and it's cruel because he was super gluing gems on their backs and cameras, and they're strong, but come on, really, humanity, don't even get me started on humanity, the silly things they do. You know, if anything, I think Julie, you're talking about rescues. I just want to circle back on that and just say, that's where our pets, we have millions and millions of pets out there, and because people are still not spaying and neutering, and there's not enough homes for all of us. And I challenge you to see any video on YouTube or wherever with a homeless person that has a pet, and what they truly saved their lives, each of them, knowing that they only have each other and they are out in the cold together and out starving together. And a lot of these people that are homeless are feeding their dogs and cats first.
Yeah.
And that type of stuff, because we want connection. We want love and connection, and animals and even the bugs. It's a little less cognitive, but all our pets serve whatever you are. I have clients that are into snakes. I'll tell you, a snake psychic reading, very short. A snake doesn't have that kind of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So luckily I've worked with snakes for years and years and years, so I can talk caging, food, habitat. Okay, he's 2 feet now. Guess when you need another enclosure, because depending on the species, they're going to get big. I really counsel people, if you don't want a big snake, keep them in a smaller cage. They will adapt.
That's interesting.
A little bit. It'll slow it down. But if you give them an enormous cage, they're going to get big pretty fast.
I didn't realize that you could control the actual growth of a snake by keeping it in a smaller container.
It is something you're going to need to read up on, and I haven't looked at the latest science, but in our world of exotic pets where I'm working and studying, is you need a cage to keep them healthy, and you need a cage the size of the animal about 2 years out, give or take. I'm trying to give you a quantifiable number. It's not written in sand. It is in sand. It's not written in cement. So go with breed if you're doing lizards and all of that. Jacalyn, did you say something?
I think there's a...
Do we have a delay?
I don't know if the Wi-Fi's there. Oh.
I think I'm frozen.
You're not frozen now.
Now you're not frozen. Anyways, I saw this like fast version of you talking.
Me too. So I'm gonna. Can I?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Julie.
Can you tell? Is my grandpuppy still there? I think we kind of left people hanging, and I don't know. We didn't come back. You said he was here. I don't know if he's still here.
That makes him come back.
Pardon?
That makes him come back for the cliffhanger of us finishing that sentence.
I know. I don't know if we're gonna actually.
Okay, sorry. Go back to what did you want to know? If he's still here? Yeah, he's sitting down.
Was there a message or no?
No, just watching, because you brought up his name, you brought up his energy, you brought up his love, And so that calls him to you. And of course I can see that.
Okay.
And the nice part is he's sitting, he's watching, there's no issues. He's just like, oh, mom's thinking of me, grandma is thinking of me. But you do it all the time.
I do.
So he feels you all the time. He never feels alone. He, of course, loves to see you more in the physical sense. But the nice thing is what we put out truly is what we get back. And that's what I'm talking about. You put out the love for the spiders and say, yeah, but not my house. Then hopefully they go away because it's your strength.
Yeah.
But you can love an animal from a distance. You don't have to have them in your house, and you've lived that, Julie.
Thank you for clarifying. And yes, he's like the little love of my life. I think I called my son a couple weeks ago and I said, hey, can I come take Jazz for a walk? And he goes, I kind of feel like chopped liver here. And I was like, why? And he goes, do you want to come see me? I'm like, of course, but you guys are always busy. So it's my little excuse to come and see Jazz.
And besides, I've known you for how many years?
Right.
I'd
love to go see them, but they're always busy or whatever. So I'm like, okay, I'll just come see Jazz.
Yeah.
Julie, any chance of you getting a pet yourself?
One day, someday, not right now. Too much going on. Yeah.
And that's really healthy and important to know that, as much as everybody can feel your love for grandpuppy, it's not the time for you. And so many people make that mistake of filling in the gaps. There's no boyfriend, wife, husband, children, ... And you do see homeless people having them and all the challenges that go with them. But the kind of support they give is just the hardest conversation in the world to say, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Because you're balancing mental health and I want this. Okay, where do you find that happy medium? And sometimes mental health wins out.
Yeah, and I almost adopted a dog recently, a couple months ago actually. I was thinking about it and I thought, oh, there's so many cute rescues out there. I would so love to just go, adopt them and just love all over them and stuff. But it's just not a good time right now. So
I have to share my crazy experience with you. So I got divorced. This is a long time ago. And I thought this would be a great time to get a dog, right? Meanwhile, now I'm living somewhere else and everything's changed. So then I felt bad for the dog because I had to go to work. So I got a second dog. And then for literally no apparent reason, I got a third dog. So I was like the crazy dog lady. And one of my favorite stories is I had this big meeting at a major company and I had a $5 million deal that I was pitching to the board. And my boss was with me. And so we got there early. We were sitting at the big, boardroom table. And I got there first, actually. He got there after me. So everybody comes in and we have the meeting. And now the meeting's over. So I wait till everyone leaves. And my boss is like, what are you doing? And I said, well, I have to take my dog. My dog's under the boardroom table. He's like, what? And I had the dog in the carrier underneath the table. And he said to me, Jacalyn, listen, I'm divorced too. He goes, you got to get some help. He said that you don't be bringing any dogs to any more meetings.
Oh, funny.
The thing is, then the dogs live for years, right? Like you get the dog and then you have the dog, if you're lucky, 12, 13, 14 years. And I think when you're in that position where you're in a life-changing stage and then you do something like get a pet, I don't know that we're really thinking about the long-term responsibility.
Yes.
Well, and that's huge what you brought up, Dr. Jacalyn, because the shelters are in a mix of, I haven't checked with them in the last couple of months, but through the pandemic, it has been a deluge of adoptions. And what we're worried about, everybody in the field, is after pandemic, when everybody goes back to normal or gets busy again, the pets get left. Yeah. And everything changes. We're going to see so much that people found out what their spouses are really like because they actually are spending time with them. And I'm sad to say that we are already hearing about excessive child abuse, spousal abuse, this type of stuff, because we're in close quarters and not getting that break 8 hours a day. I love being married to this person. Long as they stay over there,
Right.
And we're finding those things out. Pets are coming. I know as an industry, we're very concerned. People like me who can feel the energy and what people's decision, I must lecture everybody about no. They're like, I really need a pet. And they have all these great reasons, really logical. Oh, and I could do this and this. I said, what are you going to do when you go back to the office? And you're gone 12 hours a day, not just 6, because everybody's going to overdo it. Everybody's going to overcommit or whatever. And these animals will get everything. Neglect is probably the best of it. The abuse, it happens. People take out their anger.
Yesterday, I had the pleasure of having somebody on our other show, A Better You. Her name is Mildred D. Muhammad, and she is an advocate for those who have their victims of abuse. And she was saying that we're actually in a pandemic within a pandemic, because all the domestic violence cases, now you're at home with the abuser. You have nowhere to go, and the shelters have no room. And so, to your point, it's the same thing with pets too.
Yep. We're going to, like everything. So I taught history to 2nd through 10th graders for a few years, and I absolutely love it. And part of that was talking about the pandemic, or what was it? The Spanish flu was what it was called. What are we? 19? I want to say 12, but that's wrong. Anyways, something down there in the 1900s, and people doing what we're doing. I tried to explain this to quite a few close family members. They're like, oh, we're going to be great. The pandemic's going to go away in 6 months. I said, have you not met humanity? Let me tell you about history. They did the same thing. They got out. Everything's done. We're good. We're not going to get sick. And it happened all over again because people get tired. And we're making choices every day on those emotional choices. Pets have the right, and I know all of us online are just preaching and loving and saying, don't get a pet if this is not 10 years. Know what you're taking on a life. You're taking on the responsibility financially, medically, emotionally, and make that decision. We all make decisions. I do. Everybody does. I feel like ... and you do it. And then you go, well, not such a great idea. And I don't want that to be pets, but I hope what I can do is help you through the transition.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great place for us to give your contact information, because we're actually at the top of the hour. This hour just flew by. So, Julie, let's start with you. I'm going to run your banner, but for those listening on the radio, what's the best way? Why should people contact you, and what's the best way?
Okay, so why they should contact me? Yes. Everybody's in business, trying to keep business coming in. And again, the new normal has been created. Everything's online. So to leverage your time, I offer a program and a service to help people learn how to create online events, whether it's networking events, whether it's educational or webinar type events, workshops. Bring people to you so that you can promote to them. You're bringing your ideal audience to you. And I have a whole process that I walk people through to help them create their own events smoothly, seamlessly, so it appeals to you, your personality, your vision for your event, and so you can have a great experience as well as your attendees. And the way to reach me is through email, julie@eliteconsultingco.com. That's julie@eliteconsultingco.com. Or you can find me on LinkedIn, Julie Parker.
That's excellent. Did you feel like you were in a spelling bee for there for a little?
Yeah, I was like, wow. Make sure I don't forget the O at the end.
I would have gone with the fingers. How many letters do I got? Right? Wow, you were so impressive. We are so impressed.
That was great. Thank you, Julie. Thank you so much for being a guest today.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to spend the hour with you and visit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we'll see you backstage in a moment, okay? If you wait for it to be great.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Well, Aminah, you brought us a terrific guest today. Thank you so much. This was a great show. I'm really glad that we're doing this. And if somebody wants to get in touch with you for your services, what's the best way?
bridgingworlds.us.
All right. You want to spell that for us? Okay.
Put a bridge and the worlds, because that's what I'm doing, is trying to bridge worlds wherever, if they're alive, if they've passed, all of that kind of stuff. I can bridge those worlds because you and I'll work together and figure out what do they need, because the message might not be your question. And sometimes we have that autocorrect and saying, I've had spirits and pets say, no, that's not the problem. And so they need them to say it out loud. And I can help you with all of that. But bridgingworlds.us tells you everything you need to know about me, all these links for these fabulous talks and shows that we're all doing together.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Aminah, for being here today. I will see you backstage in just a minute as I close out the show.
Absolutely.
And thank you to our loyal listeners and to our loyal viewers. We really appreciate your support. This is a brand new program, and we have other spotlight programs like this that we're going to be announcing. I also want to share with you, we have launched Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents A Better You, lessons from the best coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors. This is a platform where our presenters will have 15 minutes to educate us, to train us, to inform us, to give us some type of information to take away. And as a result of those presentations, we are launching the A Better You University. This is a platform where we will house this content, the 15-minute presentations, as well as any type of training content that you, coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors are looking to be able to share with the public. So it's a pay platform where the public will be able to buy your contents. So check us out on our website. We also have one more offering under our umbrella, Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, and that's the ability for you to have your own show. If you want to host your own show, but you don't want to produce it, we'll produce it for you. So we'll take you out over Business Talk Radio, and we'll also take you out over social media on your platforms. So check us out, drjacalyn.com. All the information you need is there. Thank you for being with us. We have 2 more shows coming up, one at 5 o'clock, Stories of Hope, Inspiration, and Overcoming Adversity, and 6 o'clock is the Variety Show. So you know where to find me. I'll be right here on Business Talk Radio. Thank you. Hope to see you later.